Hey everybody, welcome. This is No Bones About Wrestling. I'm one of your hosts, Asa. Excuse me. And of course, that is Switch, my co-host.
What's up, everybody?
And today we have a very special treat for you. We have an interview with the one, the only Vince Russo. He is a big deal. He's a former WCW World Champion, first World Champion we've had on the show. He's currently the head writer for JCW, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, doing a very good job at that. He's a former head writer of WWF, WCW, TNA. He's done it all. He's worked with everybody. He's been everywhere. He's seen it all. And I've been a fan of his since I was a kid, watching the Attitude of WWF, where he got his first huge notoriety in the wrestling business. So without any further ado, here's the man, Vince Russo.
Yes.
What is going on, gentlemen? Quite the introduction. Thank you, man. How you doing, man?
Doing well.
Doing
How are you
all
doing
right,
this
man.
morning?
I got I had a long stint on the road last weekend and stuff. I've had a cold for the last week. I'm trying to kick out of it, but the show must go on, man.
I hear you. And you said you're at home. You're working on the next 7 episodes of
As a
Lunacy?
matter of fact, I just finished the first one, and I always look at it that way, man. 1 down, 6 more to go.
So we're interrupting the creative process right now.
No, not really, man, because you can't sit and write a show straight for like hours. You got to write, walk away. Like you can't, I can't just sit here and write an entire show without leaving this seat. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I got you. So, all right, we'll just get started here. I think we introduced ourselves, but yeah, I'm Asa, and that is Switch there.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you. And thank you so much for doing our little show here. We really appreciate it.
No problem at all, man. No problem at all.
This is so surreal, man.
So
so surreal, man, seeing you, man.
It really is. It really is. So yeah, we try to keep things positive. We're not going to be scooping too much dirt or anything like that today, so don't worry about all that. We like to look at wrestling positive. We're not like the crazy fantasy bookers or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I'm open to anything and everything, guys. You know how I roll.
Yeah. So here, first I'll ask: is the goal for JCW to get a TV or streaming deal, or are you happy with the freedom that YouTube provides you?
Nah, man, because if you wanna make next level money, I mean that's the route you need to go. And I mean, I want to make next level money so we could put that money into the show. The more money we have coming in, the more talent we can use, production values and stuff like that. So the goal is to definitely get on some type of a network, streaming service, cable company, get some money coming in so we can improve the product.
So you wouldn't be worried about them editing the content to the language or anything?
I mean, we do that now because we're on YouTube, and we can. But, I worked with standards and practices at WCW. I understand how that stuff works, so it wouldn't be a problem.
I've also noticed, since you've been in JCW, it seems like y'all ramped up the as far as selling merch and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, give them credit too, man, because they came up with a great merch line for every talent on the show. And Jay, Violent J, bro, when it comes to creativity and vision and art and outside of the box, man, there's nobody better than him, man. And he has a hand in all that stuff.
And there's even a Vince Russo show.
Yeah, no, a couple of guys had it at the last show. They proudly showed it to me, and I was flattered. Yes, I was.
Yeah. So how'd you get hooked up with Violent J?
Well, I've known Jay for years because I work with him at WCW and I work with him at WWE. So I had worked with him before, but Sean Oliver who does Kevin's podcast. He used to do those great interviews on kayfabe commentaries. He's always been a good friend of mine. He's always been a good friend of Joe's, and he kind of brought the two of us together.
Oh, cool. It's worked out really well. I tell you, we never watched JCW before, honestly. And then we heard you were taking over, and that was a shock. It came out of nowhere, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, it really shouldn't have been so shocking because I can't work in a corporate environment. I mean, it's just not going to happen. When I see Unreal and I see that creative room, I want to kill myself. I mean, never, ever, ever could I work in that type of environment. So that's why a guy like Violent J, I mean, this was just perfect for my type of writing, man.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's worked out really well, I think. It's the wrestling show I look most forward to every week, definitely, because the storylines keep me going. And like you say, the characters, and then you let the characters work the storylines out in the ring too.
Yeah. It's funny because, I was watching, again, I stopped watching Raw and SmackDown a long time ago, but I still do a review show. So all I do is I watch the highlights. And I mean, my God, when you have two people throwing out an open challenge on the same show, you are creatively bankrupt. And there's not one angle. Like, there's not one angle. And my problem when I'm doing JCW is there are too many angles. It's with all the angles and the storylines we have going on, bro, it's hard to get it all in one show. And I look at the WWE product and I'm like, you guys can't come up with one single. It blows my mind, man. It really does.
Yeah, and they just had Obafemi coming off that big win over Brock Lesnar, and now they got him doing the open challenge. It just seems lazy. It's like they don't have anything.
He does it. Becky did an open challenge, and then I saw. I'm watching these three girls because I don't watch NXT, and I'm like, this is the Riot Squad? I mean, it's the Riot Squad all over again. It's like. And then what really is hysterical to me is Triple H gets an extended contract as content creator. What content is the guy creating?
Yeah. I don't watch WWE, but like you, I see highlights and I read about it, and it's not good.
It's really good. Not. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I watch just because I love all wrestling, but it is a hard thing to watch.
Yeah, no, that's why
nothing like it was growing up. But I'm not looking for it to be like it was when I was growing up, because times change, the industry changes. But damn, give me something that I can sink my teeth into. You don't give me no storyline. You give me the same matches, then it'll be the same storylines like 3 times in the show. Give me something that I can buy into.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. That's why I stopped watching. I just after every Monday and Thursday, I'm like, bro, this is such a massive waste of my time. I just can't do it anymore, man.
Yeah. And you worked with everybody. Who are some of the wrestlers you would like to see come and work in JCW?
God, man, again, people got to understand something. We're an indie company. So we're not working off of millions of dollars. Right. I mean, but when I look alone at some of the people the WWE just released, bro, those were all swings and misses. Bro, Bo Dallas was doing an unbelievable job as Uncle Howdy. My God, if we could afford Bo Dallas, I would bring him in a heartbeat. Aleister Black, has a great look. I mean, just looking at those people they released alone. Sam Shaw, bro. My God, I was consulting when he was doing his gimmick at TNA. These people are great performers, but when you don't have anybody giving you any material, you're not going to go anywhere.
You're right. And there is no excuse. Aleister Black has been at WWE for a year, did not have one title run, not one pay-per-view appearance. Aleister Black, are you kidding me?
Bro, I've said this all along. I don't care what anybody says. The best match I saw on Raw in the last 10 years was Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy.
Yep.
That's the best match I've seen. And where are either one of those guys? If I would have been the head writer and that match would have happened on my dime, those guys would have skyrocketed after that match, man. Skyrocketed.
What's your favorite company to watch right now besides JCW?
Bro, I don't watch any wrestling right now, bro. It sucks. It sucks. It's a waste of my time. You bro, listen, I'm the kind of guy that you've got to earn my viewership. You've got to earn it because my time is valuable. Bro, I'm the same with sports. You know, when my team starts shitting the bed, I stop watching. I'm not gonna freaking watch you if you suck. That's just how I am, bro. I have not watched an AEW show in 5 years, and man, I'm going on now with WWE. Man, I'm going on at least 6 months now. I've not watched the show.
All right. Switch, you got a question here.
Yes, I do. I was wondering, what do you feel the difference in writing a show for JCW compared to the other companies you work for?
Well, obviously, there is a lot more freedom. For a couple of reasons. Number one, we're not on network television, so we can basically do whatever we want to do. And probably number two is like that Violent J is probably more crazy than I am. So like, there's nothing I can write or there's nothing I can pitch that's gonna shock that guy. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm never gonna get from a Violent J, Vince, we can't do that. I'm never ever gonna get that from him. And it really is, man. It's absolute, just freedom. And the whole key to my success, bro, is you gotta let me do what I do.
Right.
Once you start getting involved and, the political bullshit happens and it gets in the way of what I'm trying to do, a lot of people will say, Vince's greatest success was the WWE because Vince was his filter. No, that had nothing to do with it. My success at the WWE was I proved to Vince McMahon that what I was doing was working, so he let me do what I do. He didn't interfere. He just said, Vince, go do it. And Vince gave me that freedom. But then, you go to TNA and you got the Hogan Bischoff bullshit, and then you go to WCW and you got all the politics of the older guys that want to keep their spots, and then all of a sudden you don't have the ability to write the best show you can because there's so many obstacles in your way.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. But yeah, you've been doing your thing with this, man. Next question I got for you: with kayfabe being a thing of the past, do you feel that it's easier or harder being a creative writer in the wrestling world today?
Man, I really don't think that has anything to do with it, man, because I have always looked at wrestling like a television show. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say that is because, even just take Lunacy, when we're on YouTube at 7:00 on Thursday nights, we're up against other television shows. So I always looked at it as a television show. I always wrote it as a television show. So, the kayfabe part of it, doesn't really matter to me because, my basis has always been entertainment. This is a TV show. It's not real. It's a television show. So that really hasn't affected me in any way.
Okay, so with how can I say this? I saw an interview years ago that you had did, and you was like, my focus, like you just said, is the entertainment, stories. Is it still like that? And you let the wrestlers take care of like the wrestling side of it in the ring, and you just want the story?
1,000%. I don't get involved in that, bro. They're the wrestlers. I'm not. All I basically tell them is, this is what we need as a finish. I mean, I got to tell them that because that gets us to the next part of the story. But as far as the nuts and bolts of the match and whatnot, they know what the story is. Then it's up to them to lay that match out and tell the story.
Cool.
And that's funny because there are so many marks out there that think I do all that. They have no clue like what my role is and where the wrestlers do their job. We all have jobs to do, man. But when it comes to in-ring action, they're the pros, man. And I let them do their thing.
Yeah, that would just be adding more work on your head.
Exactly,
on you.
Man. Right. Exactly.
Hey, so you got a question for him?
Yeah, well, here we got a viewer who has a question.
Okay.
This is kind of a broad question, but still be interesting for your process. How do you come up with storylines?
It's real easy, bro. It's if you have well-defined characters, the stories write themselves.
Right.
It's that simple, man. You've got well-defined characters, and you put those two characters in a storyline, it just writes itself. The problem with the WWE is everybody's a wrestler. Everybody's a wrestler. We like I said, we just saw those 3 new girls. I don't even remember what their names are. I can't tell one apart from the other. They all dress the same. Everybody is a wrestler. That is the problem. That's why you need well-defined characters.
Yeah, that's one of the things in modern wrestling I miss a lot is, people used to have gimmicks. Yeah. But now like WWE and AEW, and I'm a fan of AEW, but everybody's gimmick is like, I'm a wrestler, I want to win the match.
Yeah, I'm a wrestler, I want to win the match. It's the cosplay dress, which I don't know what that means. I mean, you all look the same to me. I mean, yeah, it's a cool, colorful look, but it doesn't help you with your character whatsoever.
Yeah, it is crazy to say that because, like, when me and Asa first started watching JCW, the first thing that caught our attention wasn't a natural-looking wrestler. It was the damn Outbreak. It was the Outbreak. And the way that they stay in character,
it's unbelievable.
Their whole presentation,
bro. It is unbelievable. I mean, bro, when I'm shooting like pre-tapes with them and stuff, like and Barnabas is talking, bro, in the background they're doing that gurgling shit like throughout the entire thing. And bro, I can't tell you how many times I turn around and I'm like, how the frick do you guys like it's and bro, they're young, they're like 23. And wow. I'm like, how do you guys it blows my mind. That's what you call in wrestling committing to the bit. I mean, that's what that is. And God, bro, freaking Luigi Primo. Like my God, he never stops twirling that freaking dough. He never stops. And I look at stuff like that. That is committing to the bit. I mean, I introduced, I don't think it aired yet, but Vito brings in his henchmen. And bro, the very, very first pre-tape I cut with them, you know who they are. You know what their characters are. And that's why I did it. The very first one. Oh, okay. That's Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos. And that's supposed to be Christopher. You know off the bat. Like I said, compare that to the 3 girls who made their debut on WWE. I don't know one from the other. I don't know their names. They all look alike, and that's the way it's going to be till 2 years from now. They get their pink slip and they're gone. Like I said, it's Riot Squad. It's the same exact thing. Remember the who were the Whoop Whoops? Remember they had the Whoop Whoop girls that won the titles for about a week. Then they had Alba Fry and the other one, and it's like, my God, they just go through talent like nothing, and it's like, Jesus, I'm begging you to give somebody a character, man.
Yeah. And we were talking about the in-ring work and how you leave that to the wrestlers, but you had a little of an in-ring history. We know you never intended to be a wrestler, but you did attend Johnny Rod's wrestling school. Can you tell our viewers kind of what that experience was like?
Yeah, bro. I just knew. Listen, man. I had when video stores were a thing, I had two really, really good mom and pop video stores making a lot of money, man. And I loved it. And I would have been doing that to this day. But unfortunately, Blockbuster and the writing was on the wall. And I knew I had to get into something else. So when I said, when I made the decision I was going to try to get into wrestling, I went to Rod's because I wanted to learn every aspect of the business. I wanted to know what this was. I really wanted to know what this animal was. So it was almost like going to college, and just seeing, how these matches get laid out, how the talent talk to each other, how talent, go over matches, backstage etiquette. That's what it was all about, man. It was really just like a college course to me to get a good feeling and a good understanding on what this business was all about.
I got you. I did the same thing, honestly, when I was younger. I never intended to be a wrestler, but I wanted to know. I wanted to do it since I was a kid, so I went to wrestling school, and they kicked my ass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely, bro.
I made it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, some people say, oh, I went to wrestling school because I wanted to be a wrestler. No, I never wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to understand the business that I was getting in.
That was smart. That was smart. Yeah. But, since you're talking about the Johnny Rod School, is that where you met Big Vito?
Oh, yeah, man. That's where I met Big Vito back in 1991. That's where I met Vito, and that's where our relationship started. So, God, what are we talking about now? 35 years.
Bruh. So, I don't know if you know, but we first started off doing a show called the Vince Russo era WCW. When you first started, we've been covering that. We was covering that on Tuesdays until they took all the nitros off of Peacock, which I don't freaking understand.
Yeah.
But watching Big Vito back then and now, Big Vito is in his groove, and y'all chemistry is so good together. Like I'm impressed with Vito, man. He is awesome, man. I love seeing him on there.
Vito is one of those guys that he's never going to be a politician, and he's going to tell you what he really thinks, and he's going to tell you what he really feels. That doesn't fly in WWE. They don't want people like that. They want people that are going to fall in line, obey, be good little soldiers, and do whatever they tell them to do. That's not Vito. And what did they try to do when he was there? And they knew he was my buddy. They put a dress on him to try to get to me. Like those are the games they play. But the Vito you're seeing today is, just absolute freedom. He trusts my writing. I know when I write something, he's going to perform it. My God, bro, the condition this guy has kept himself in is ridiculous. I mean, Vito's 61. It's ridiculous the kind of shape he's in for a 61-year-old guy.
Yeah, he's as good now as he was in WCW, 25 years ago, I think.
No doubt. I mean, because he takes it seriously, man. He takes his shit seriously, and this has really been an opportunity for him to shine,
Yeah, and back in WCW, he didn't really get. I mean, he had some promos and talk and stuff, but I didn't know Vito had chops like this.
Oh yeah. I always knew that. He just needed a platform, man. That's all he needed.
So I'm gonna go just a little negative for a second because I gotta know your take on this. In the new Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix, Hulk called you the poison, the final nail in the coffin of WCW. Why would he say that?
Because that's a paranoid wrestler, bro. Hogan has always said that he heard, never heard it from me. He heard that my goal when I went to WCW was to get rid of all the wrestlers over 40.
Right.
Do you know how absurd that is? Do you want me to go down the list of the wrestlers that were over 40 at that time? Kurt Hennig, Macho Man Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, Scott Hall, Diamond Dallas Page, Kevin Nash. You think that was my plan to get rid of all those freaking guys? That's Hogan, and again, he's passed now, and I'm not talking badly about him. I say this if he was alive. That's just Hogan being paranoid. Because what I was trying to do was I was trying to elevate those mid-carders. That's
right.
What I was trying to do. And as soon as somebody like a Hogan or a Flair sees something like that, right away they go in protect my spot mode. That's what they go in right away. Meanwhile, all I was trying to do was elevate that next tier, create more superstars, never had one single intention on getting rid of any of those guys. So again, when I hear something like that, bro, that's how paranoid wrestlers are, bro. It's all about their spot, and somebody's always trying to take their spot, and it's such nonsense and bullshit, bro.
Yeah, your time in WCW, like Switch said, we just a couple months ago, we were going back through the Nitros and the Thunders and the pay-per-views. I loved it. I mean, because like you said, you were pushing those mid-carders. We were seeing people like, Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman get more time. And that was something we really noticed was people got their opportunity. Everybody was on the show.
Right.
People got their chances. And it was up to them to kind of sink or swim in the, in the storyline and the situations you put them in.
Yeah. Bro, listen, I love my work at WCW. I could give a shit what anybody says. Bro, the negativity towards Vince Russo comes from the freaking wrestling marks and the wrestling dirt sheet writers who have convinced themselves that wrestling is real. They really do, bro. They think wrestling is real. If you listen to one of their podcasts, if you bring in an outsider to listen to one of their podcasts, they will say they will tell you, do these people think it's real? Once they get to talking and once they start talking, bro, they're talking about it like it's real. And that's why they hate me, because no, guys, it's not real. It's fake. It's entertainment, and it's a television show. But for whatever reason, they want it to be real. Stiff style, strong style, fake wrestling. Bro, if you want strong style, then go in there and do it for real. If you're such tough guys, do it for freaking real. Don't make it fake anymore.
That's what MMA and UFC is for.
Exactly, bro. 1,000%. Exactly.
And that's what Bret Hart always said was, the whole point of the thing is for us to not hurt each other.
Exactly.
Why would you want to go in there and do moves that really hurt you?
Exactly. It's ridiculous, man.
Man, and speaking of that WCW, when we was watching it, I noticed when you was writing them shows and producing the shows, it was fast paced. If you blinked, you missed something. You couldn't turn away. And not only that, you always left us with something that made us be like, oh man, I gotta come back next week and watch. And I've seen you pick that up a little bit with the JCW. You want to talk about that style?
Yeah, no doubt about it, bro. I'm the kind of guy, like I said, man, I told you guys earlier in the interview, it is very hard for me to stay still for 10 minutes. It really is, man. I just get bored easily, and I always got to be doing something, and I always got to be moving. That's just who I am. And the same way with television, bro, my whole life, man. When I'm watching something and you lose me, I'm gone, bro. I'm gone. Even if it's something I really, really wanted to see, once you lose me, I'm gone. And that's why, you know, when I write, I'm very, very conscious of that. How long are wrestling matches? Is this a good promo? Is this a boring promo? I'm very, very conscious of that because I'm writing to always keep your attention. I always want to keep your attention. That's why, bro, it drives me crazy. Even on the level of the WWE, you will see in-rings that go on forever because they've memorized it and they want to get everything in. Meanwhile, you're watching it, and as a audience member, it's clear as day you've lost the crowd. Bro, when you're in that ring cutting a promo, whatever your promo is supposed to be, you know when you lost the crowd. You know, and usually you lose the crowd if it goes on too long. And, bro, as soon as you sense you lose the crowd, you got to take it home. I don't care where you are in that freaking promo. As soon as you know you lost them, you got to take it home, because if you lose them, the person in that audience can't go anywhere, but the person watching at home has changed the channel. And I've always written TV that week, man, that way. I am not going to give you the opportunity to turn the channel.
Is that something that you tell the wrestlers on your roster now? Because I don't believe WWE even teaches that. Like, okay, if you're on this promo and you see the crowd going a certain way, you need to know how to pivot like that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And what I'll do is I'll produce it, bro. And if I feel it and they don't do it, I'll hit the music. I'll hit them. I know. I know when it's over, bro. I will call for the music.
And so talking about crowd reaction, how much do you use the crowd reaction to determine who's going over, you know, or who's getting over, and how much is it like who you want to see get over?
Yeah,
or who you think the viewers want to see?
Yeah, I always, bro. That is always that's the problem. I think people like Triple H and Tony face, they write a show that they like. That's what they're producing. And you know what? It don't. I told Tony this on the show. Tony, it doesn't matter what you like. It matters what the masses like. And every week you get numbers, man. And you know what they're watching, and you know what they're turning off. Do you guys want to know something like this? They'll never admit to in professional wrestling. Bro, it has been this way since I started wrestling 30 years ago. Okay? After every single lunacy, we get a graph, and we see when it spikes and when it goes down, when it spikes, every single show. Bro, 100% of the time since 1996, whether it was WWE, WCW, or TNA, or JCW, when there is a match going on in the ring, it goes down. When there's something happening backstage, it goes right back up. When it goes back to a match, it goes down. Every single time. That has not changed. And what does the WWE and AEW do? Let's put on 15-minute wrestling matches. They're clueless, bro, because they're putting out a product that they like. I always wrote a product based on the numbers. The numbers tell you what they're watching and what they're not watching. It's as clear as day.
And speaking of the numbers and non-wrestling stuff, we'll mention you wrote in modern times, at least, since after the 80s, you wrote what was the highest rated segment of all time, The Rock and Mankind, This Is Your Life. It did like an 8 point something in the ratings. Is that kind of a proud accomplishment to be able to say, look, I put on the highest rating that there's been?
No, because they'll still come up with a million excuses. Bro, it was 8.4. It was 8.4 and had nothing to do with wrestling. Absolutely nothing to do with wrestling. And that's why
crazy.
they will never. Bro, I swear to God, I remember Meltzer's newsletter. After that episode, Meltzer said in his newsletter he was never going to watch another episode of Monday Night Raw. And that drew 8.4. That's the mentality, bro. That's the hardcore wrestling fan that exists today. Those are the people that you're talking about.
And see, we like it all. We like the in-ring stuff. We appreciate that. But at the same time, there's Brett Duncan. It's Tuesday. Who's ready? That's he's got a joke going at. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought because Brett showed up.
I can do that to
you. What was I saying?
You like everything.
Oh yeah. We like the wrestling, but you got to have the backstage stuff, and that's so much of what WWE and AEW are missing. Is like the like you've said before. I think you start the show off with the A story, and you've got it. You got some backstage segments and stuff to make the A story a little spicier. And then we end up the night with the A story in the main event. And it's a simple formula and it works.
Yep. A beginning, a middle, and an end, and you thread it throughout the entire show. That never stopped working. Never.
Right.
And that's why the Attitude Era was booming when Russo was there writing. That formula worked.
Never stopped working. Never stop. Works to this day. Never stop working.
So I want to get away from wrestling just for a second. I'm reading your first book, Forgiven, right now, which I'm really enjoying. I'm looking forward to the second book.
Third book, bro. Where you been, man? Third book coming out.
Well, I got to make it to the second book first, but I saw you got a third book. You got a third book coming out.
July 14th, man. Total Nonstop Agony is coming out July 14th, man.
Yes, sir.
I will definitely be buying it. I've enjoyed your writing. And so in your first book, Forgiven, you discuss your early job as a college textbook salesman. I found that part really funny. Can you describe to our viewers kind of what that job was?
You know what, bro? It was awful, and I really had to battle through it. And I'm kind of glad that I did that young, because I was about 22 years old when I got the job, and it was horrendous. Bro, think about this. I had all the college campuses in Long Island, New York, Brooklyn, and Queens. I had about maybe 15 colleges. So I had to go to every college, and I had to try to sell the professor our textbook to use. So, bro, keep in mind, think of all the subjects in college, from psychology to sociology to trigonometry through calculus, through all this shit. I had to know a little bit about everything to be able to have a conversation with a college professor to sound like I knew what I was talking about. And bro, these are college professors. These are people with doctorates. Oh my God, bro. It was a horrible, 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 very hard job. I did well at it, but I absolutely hated my first job out of college, man. Absolutely hated it.
So then after that, you started the video stores. Right. Yep. And I mean, the video stores were booming at that point, but what do you think made yours, like you call it a mom and pop, what made yours so successful?
Bro, it was just really gimmicky. Like my son's name is Will, so the stores were called Will the Thrills. And bro, we just used to have a blast with the customers, man. We knew everybody by name. It was like just one big family. And like I said, bro, I would be doing that to this day. I would have never, ever gotten out of that, unless the industry, if the industry hadn't changed the way it did. But, and again, to me, that's why I always laugh about, Vince is bitter because the WWE won't hire him. Bro, there is nothing like owning your own business, man.
Mhm.
There is nothing in the world like working for yourself. You don't deal in the politics and the bullshit and people telling you what to do. And it was a great, great job. And I really, really loved it, man.
Yeah, you can say that again. Me and my brother, we're going on 4 years of our production company, CGR Productions. We're in the midst of writing a horror movie right now. Hopefully it'll be coming out soon, called Curses Versus. So, and I was a preschool teacher, and the way kids are nowadays, I couldn't take it. I did that for like 15 years, bro.
Yeah.
And I came home one day and the shorty was like, "You just look so done. Why don't you just stop and just do your music and do what you want to do?" I was like, "Are you for real?" She said, "Yes." And ever since then, me and my brother got our LLC and been doing our thing ever since, man.
That's awesome, man. There's nothing like it. That's why, I mean, my God, it's like people say that to me. And then, like I said, I watched that Unreal. And I'm like, are you who would want to be in that type of environment? I mean, look at Road Dogg. I just saw him. I saw him last week, and it was like he got to the point of like, what am I doing? You know, my kids are getting older, like, and he got the hell out of there, man. There's nothing like just having that freedom of working for yourself, man. So good for you, man. Good for you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and the whole Road Dogg thing, man, it just seemed like they was like, I did 2 episodes of Unreal, then I had to stop because I'm like, you know what? As a fan, this is not what I want to see. I don't want to learn about. I don't want to learn about this stuff. Y'all giving away too much now.
Yeah,
you're giving away too much.
Well, anything, bro. Then they're not going to turn down money.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to pay them for a show like that, they're going to do it, bro. They're not going to turn it down.
Hell, I think some of the storylines that they're trying to do for WWE is just to appease whenever Unreal comes back out.
I would not be surprised. Yeah.
Shoot, a matter of fact, you mind if I ask him something about he did I guess you could say after the video store, and another thing on the video store, I miss those times.
Yeah, so do I, bro.
Going on a Friday and looking for the game and a wrestling VHS.
Bro, I swear to God, I'm not kidding you. I am still holding on to hope that they're going to return.
I think they're going to come back.
I'm holding on to. I'm a big vinyl guy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I've got like over 4,500 albums.
Oh.
I'm a huge vinyl guy, and like vinyl came back.
Yeah,
vinyl came back, and that's why I'm like, man, if vinyl can come back, the video store can come back, bro.
It can, because it was nothing like it. It just, as a family, if you got a family, you got a kid, and we're going up here to get you again. I look forward to every Friday.
Awesome,
my dad taking me to Video World. Or I ain't really do Blockbuster. We had Movie Time and Video World. I'm from Virginia. And we would go in there. I would get that Sega game. I would get that Super Nintendo game. And then always one wrestling VHS. And I'm good for the weekend.
I know, man. I swear to God, I miss that so much. Like I said, I would have never, ever left that. Never, ever left it.
Yeah, but from that, let me ask you about this, because I didn't know about this, and I hope to God that you have some kind of video in your archive somewhere. How did the Vicious Vincent's World of Wrestling get started, and was there any notable names in it?
Oh God, yeah, because bro, I hooked up with a guy who, bro, I used to do big promotions in my video stores with wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll tell you who I had. I had Jake, I had Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and I had Demolition when they were champions.
Oh, snap.
So I had a guy come into my store who was doing a wrestling radio show, okay? And he wanted me to advertise on his show. So I started advertising on his show, and I even partnered in a little. And that's where I was introduced to the dirt sheet world. It was one of those shows, and I had no idea what I was getting into. So I had a falling out with him, and then I did my own show, Vicious Vincent's World of Wrestling, which was an entertainment show. And bro, back in the day, they used to when the WWE was at the Nassau Coliseum, they used to have this supper club before every show. They would let us do our show live, and they would give us talent. I know, we had Kurt Hennig on that show. We had Savage on that show. They would literally give us talent. And then, for the show, they let me interview Taker and Paul Bearer. Like, they were working with me. And it was, again, I was covering everything from the entertainment aspect. I wasn't looking for dirt or gossip and shit like that. It was all just to have fun.
Sweet.
So, man, so you're talking about some of the talent you worked with back then, and like we said earlier, you've been everywhere. You work with everybody. Who's been some of your favorite talent to work with?
Oh man, there's been there's been so many. I just saw at WrestleCon last week. I just saw Mick. Every time I see Mick Foley, man, we're both from Long Island. We were in rival high schools. So like, I know Mick from way back. Always love working with Mick, but man, just everybody at TNA. Like I love working with Kurt. Kurt was so great to work with, but I mean, really everybody, man, from The Rock to Austin. I mean, there were a few bad apples in the bunch,
Of course,
but,
of course.
95% of the guys and the gals were great to work with, man.
Man, I could tell you one person that I appreciate. It's like watching the WCW. We call it the Russo era. That's the time we was watching. Watching as a kid and watching now, I appreciate the product so much more as an adult. And watching Norman Smiley run around that damn ring and do the things he was doing. Asa tell you that was my highlight every time we did a watch along for it.
The absolute best. The absolute best. Well, and one of the nicest guys in the world. And man, I can't believe he's worked in that WWE system forever.
Yeah, that's
and the reason why I say that is because he's a genuinely nice guy. And just to be working in that system, like,
So is that hard for nice people?
Oh yeah, bro. If you're a nice person, you're never gonna make it in the wrestling business, man. You're not. And when you look at people that have been in spots forever, they're there because they're not nice people, and they will do whatever they have to do to keep those spots. Because there's so many great people in wrestling that are on the outside looking in because they're nice people. And if they're in the business, they're going to get eaten by sharks, man. And that's why, like I said, man, there's more people on the outside of the business that could do a better job than those on the inside of the business, but they'll never get hired because they'll be kept out because people are afraid of their talent and their knowledge. So they'll always be cock blocked for ever getting a job. I look at the WWE now, bro. Like I look at that Unreal, and I look at that conference room. I swear to God, bro, there's only one person that I would have in that freaking in that room and build around. That will never happen because he's a nice guy. The person in that room, bro, that knows more than everybody else is Bobby Roode. And Bobby Roode would be the way he carries himself and the way he treats people with the utmost respect. Bobby, doesn't talk out of line. That would be my guy. I would get rid of every single person in that room and start with Bobby Roode and build it from there.
Yep, and right now he's basically getting filtered out because he's underneath Michael Hayes.
Absolutely.
So he runs his stuff through Michael Hayes, and that's how that goes. But like I got nothing but love for Michael Hayes. He's all-time great, but a lot of those guys are still stuck in doing things the old way. Like Chelsea Green, look, like you said, the fans are calling for stuff. The whole thing with Chelsea Green, fans was calling for. and he said she's just there to get people over.
And bro, and think about this. It's funny that you bring up Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green won the U.S. title. She was the first one to win the U.S. title, and she was really getting it over.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who she lost the U.S. title to?
Nope.
Zelina Vega.
Okay.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you? You talk about a swing and a miss. You took the title off of probably one of the hottest female properties you had, and you put it on somebody only to release them less than a year later. Think about that, bro. Think about the incompetence in that.
So I want to ask you about, there's one specific episode, which is one of my favorite episodes of wrestling I've ever seen. You wrote a Nitro episode that's become known as the Great Reset. You stripped all the title holders. This is when you were working with Eric Bischoff. You stripped all the title holders of the belts. You stopped all the storylines. I mean, that took a lot of balls to try that. Why did you think WCW was at the point that it needed that?
Well, I do want to say that wasn't just me. I mean, that was really a collaboration between me and Eric. I mean, we did work together on that going in. It just, nothing was working, bro. Like, you know, bro, when I first went in there, I went in there with a game plan. I told them exactly what I was going to do. I told them how long it was going to take to increase the ratings. I told them we had to rip down the building and start building a new foundation. And that's exactly what Ed Ferrara and myself were doing the first 3 months. And regardless of what anybody says, the numbers and the ratings are on record. When Ed and I were there for the first 3 months, the numbers started going up. We were accomplishing exactly what we said we were going to do. Politics, you know, the Hogans and the Flairs. So I go home, and I was not sent home. I chose to go home. I went home, and in the 3 months that I was home, the ratings went right back to where they were before I got there. And I knew, I'm like, we're never going to get these people back. It's much like Tony. It's, you know, bro, the first AEW drew 1.4 million people. That's what it drew. And now they draw about half of that. And that's one of the hardest things to do, man. If you lose viewers, it is very, very, very difficult for them to give you a second chance. It's very hard.
Yeah, in WCW, you got your feet, you got your legs cut out from under you. You know, like you said, it was going well. I thought creatively and from an entertainment aspect, I thought it was going great. It was a more entertaining show than Raw was. I mean, when you and Ferrara got your, you know, creative control, whatever you want to call it, your freedom, the show, you know, like Switch said, was can't miss. You can't blink. You can't turn the channel, you know, the crash TV style, what people call it. You can't turn the channel because you're going to miss something you need to know for the rest of the episode, or you're going to need to know for next week.
And and the Flairs and the Hogans went to management because we were getting the younger guys over, and they were afraid of their spots, and they worked management. Running WCW at the time was an accountant called Bill Bush, who knew nothing about wrestling.
Right.
They worked him. Bush calls me in the office and says, Vince, there's gonna be a change in direction. And I said, change all the direction you want. I ain't gonna be a part of it. And that's when I went home.
That sucks. I hated that when that happened. That was another thing. I was shocked because, like you said, the ratings were going up, the show had improved, and then it was just like the next thing we heard, Vince Russo went home because they wanted to start a booking committee.
Yep.
Which is wild.
That's why, bro, the veterans were afraid of losing their spots. Guys, not for anything. When you see guys like Bruce Pritchard, like Michael Hayes, like Paul Heyman that have been around forever, there's a reason they've been around forever. That's how they stay around forever. Remember in the documentary, Hogan saying he knew where the bodies were buried?
Yeah.
That's why people like that are there. And that's why a guy like Bobby Roode, could never, like I said, that would be my guy. That's why you see a guy like Road Dogg leave, because Road Dogg knows I can never be one of them. I love the business, the Armstrong legacy, but I can never be one of them. And that's why a guy like that leaves.
So would you consider bringing on like a showrunner, producer, whatever you want to call him, somebody like a Bobby Roode? Or is that something you don't have any interest in? You like running the show yourself?
No, I have no problem with that. But again, bro, the toughest thing with an indie company like JCW is just dollars and cents.
Yeah.
It really is, bro. It's just budget, because I'm going to bring in more talent before I bring in a showrunner. Bro, everywhere I've gone, I've had people underneath me. Bro, I started Jeremy Borash. Jeremy's Triple H's right-hand man right now. Jeremy started under me. WWE had a guy named Bill Banks. At TNA, it was Matt Conway. I always had people under me like that. So I don't have a problem with that at all. But like I said, when you're on such a tight budget, man, I want it to be talent first.
I hear you. So Switch, I got one more question for Mr. Russo. Do you have one more you want to ask him before we let him go?
I actually have two, so I'm gonna ask one. I'm gonna let you ask one, and then we're gonna end with some fun, okay?
All right.
So probably about 2 years ago, Russo, I had sent you a super chat and asked you about being inducted into the Hall of Fame for your contributions to the Attitude Era, because I feel like without you, fuck it, there's no Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And you had said that you
Bro,
didn't need.
Can I make one thing perfect? Can I make one thing perfectly clear?
Yes, sir.
Without me, there is no Attitude Era. I'm not saying that to take credit. I could give a shit. Attitude Era was freaking 30 years ago.
Yeah.
There is no Attitude Era without me.
Exactly.
You would have been seeing the same wrestling that you're seeing right now. That's what you would have been seeing.
With horrible gimmicks. Yeah. Like the Goon,
DL Hopper, Floyd, Mantar. We can go on and on.
Exactly, but you had said that you didn't need the Hall of Fame to solidify your status for that. Could you explain that? And also, if they was to call you for that, and not a Legends, but to be up there speaking,
never, never, bro. If I could do it all over again, I would never, ever, ever in a million years get in the wrestling business. It's a freaking dirty business. There's a lot of slimy people in the business. There's a lot of bad people in the business. If you're a regular family guy, it's not the place to be. It's not the place to be. So to be in a Hall of Fame, that doesn't honor me. What honors me is being a good dad and a good husband and a good son. Those are the things that honor me. Being in that Hall of Fame where Triple H is in 5 times and Ric Flair is in 4 times and Stephanie McMahon is given an hour speech, bro, no thanks.
Yeah.
Not interested.
And you know what? With that, I want to say kudos to you and respect to you, because when Vince McMahon told you you make enough money to go hire a nanny, and you was like, fuck that.
That's right, bro.
Get out of here.
Bro, can I tell you something, Switch? 98% of people in my shoes would have had a nanny the next day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And I am so glad that happened, because that was my wake-up call. That was my wake-up call. And you are absolutely right. Next day, 98% of people in my shoes would have had a nanny.
Go ahead, Asa.
Well, my last question, not just for wrestling writers, but what's the best piece of advice you have just for writers?
Bro, the best piece of advice I have for writers, honestly, is, bro, write every day. You got to write every day. Even when you can't write, you got to force yourself to write. Bro, do you know to this day, Jerry Seinfeld has a calendar on his wall with every day of the year. And every single day, Seinfeld writes a new joke.
Wow.
That's what you've got to do. You've got to
it.
write every single day. Bro, there are times, like I said, like, we're talking about, I got to write 7 shows. Bro, when you think about that, it's overwhelming.
I'm sure.
So even when you can't write, you got to force yourself to write. You got to constantly write, man.
And so Switch says he wants to end the show with some fun. I have no idea what he has in store. Switch, what do you got?
We have the one and only Vince Russo on here. And we can't go on have this podcast without talking about a certain somebody. And I'm not going to be negative about it. It's just me, I guess you could say, fantasy booking. If our friend, your friend, Mr. Jim Cornette, was to ever come to you, and I mean humbly and sincerely apologize for everything, and y'all talked it out, would you be open to the idea of bringing him to JCW for a storyline?
I've thrown the olive branch out there at Eric Bischoff. I've thrown the olive branch out there at freaking Jim Cornette. I'm not a freaking child. I'm an adult, but I'm done throwing the olive branch out. I mean, I'm like
gold. It would be money.
Bro, you don't have to tell me that, but when you're 65 and you're still acting like you're 12, it's never going to change. So
yeah.
Jim Cornette hates you, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, bro, again, and it's much of the same reason as freaking, Eric Bischoff. I was chosen over Jim Cornette twice.
Right.
Vince McMahon chose me over Jim, and Dixie Carter chose me over Jim. And rather than Jim look in the mirror and say, why, it's all my fault. It's what I did. No, Jim, they chose me over you for a reason, bro. And I'll never apologize for that in a million years. And it's something he can't deal with. So I guess he'll take it to his grave.
Yeah, which is crazy, because between your writing and the character that he is, oh my gosh, it would be so lovely, man.
Well,
so lovely.
Never happened, but
I know.
It is what it is.
Once again, fantasy booking.
Yeah. So, folks, that has been the legend. My favorite wrestling writer ever.
Yes.
Mr. Vince Russo. Again, round of applause. Thank you so much for coming on our little show. This has been entertaining. It's been enlightening. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it.
Yes, and bro. I want to remind people, man, you got to watch it, man. If you want wrestling to go back to where it used to be, JCW Lunacy every Thursday night, 7:00 Eastern on YouTube, guys. Check it out. It's not what you're going to see on WWE and AEW, man. Just check it out one time. That's all I ask.
Definitely. Yeah. Same as Mr. Russo said, I can't recommend it enough. If you want to feel the way you felt back in the Attitude Era, where you've got characters, you've got them building over the weeks, you have characters that actually change and have developments. Yeah, stories. You got to watch JCW. And the unpredictability, which is one of the biggest parts of wrestling to me. You cannot predict what JCW is going to do next. That's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah. For 2 weeks, I'm sitting here throwing out all kinds of names of who's going to be the mystery person. I'm like, it could be Karrion Kross. No, I can't be Karrion Kross. Who else could Vince bring in? Man, we was going all through the names, and then it's EC3. I was like, I'd be damn. But yeah, man, y'all please go check out JCW, yo, because check it. You don't need an ESPN subscription. You don't need an HBO Max subscription. All you got to do is log into your YouTube channel, subscribe to the, what's it called, Asa?
Psychopathic Records.
JCW Lunacy, right.
JCW Lunacy, Psychopathic Records. Just click on there, follow, subscribe, because Vince and the guys and Violent J and everybody over there is doing great things. Can't wait to see what's coming next, Vince, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, you guys, and thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to have you on our little show and to talk to you. And this is going to air several other times if people missed it. And Vince, thank you so much, and have a great day.
All right,
Now,
you
get
too,
back to
guys.
writing them
Take care.
great shows, man.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me.
All right,
Thank
bro.
you.
All right.
Man. All right.
Asa,
Well,
great
we're
job,
still
bro.
on. We're still on. Yeah, man.
Hey,
Great job.
hey, this is the after show now. This is the after show now, man. Bro, great job, man. That was unreal, man. And thanks for letting me be part of that, man.
Yeah, thank you for being part of it. Thank you for coming up with good questions. That was
Bro,
great
I'm
to talk to Vince
sitting there
Russo.
looking at the clock. I was like, oh shoot, we're gonna have to milk this joke.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought at first, but he was, he gave us good responses,
Yeah, man. That was awesome, man. I'm gonna make sure I try to make some clips and send them to you, and make sure they're in MP4 format so you can actually post them and not that movie mess.
Yeah, and here Catman580 says that's awesome. Y'all got Vince Russo. He said he's coming on our show in a couple hours. So okay, check out what's the name of your show, Catman. So our viewers can check it out.
Yeah, throw the link up in the chat so we know where to go, man. But yeah, that was awesome, man.
That was surreal, like you said, to get to pick the brain of a legend. I mean, to me, the best writer of wrestling that there's been, just to keep your attention and keep you entertained. There's nobody like Vince Russo. And that was so cool to have him on our show. I really want to thank him again for coming on. That was he was a great guest.
Yeah, he was, man. Real good guest, man. And down to earth, man. Like, bro, I'm gonna tell you like this though.
Yeah.
Once we started, all your nerves went out the window, man. You weren't nervous no more. I see you.
I
told you you'll fall right into place, man.
Yeah, I was nervous as hell going into that interview,
Told you, ain't
I
no
really
need to
was.
be nervous, man. You got this, man. After a while, we're gonna be having them other interviews up here, man. You just gonna be flowing with it, man.
Yeah. So,
and I told
man,
you,
I don't know
my brother taught me to be a good co-pilot, man.
I don't know who we'll have on next. What do you think? Who do you want? I was talking to Lash LaRue. That would be interesting. Who do you want to try and get?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'd have to really sit and think, man. I'll tell
you somebody else I'd like to really have is the Godfather, Papa Shango.
Ooh, that would be real good.
Charles Wright.
Yeah. He's a real
nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a real nice guy.
Oh man, the stories that he could and can't tell.
Yeah.
we might need an hour and a half for him.
I tell you, the Catman580 says you guys should get Big Vito. That's a great suggestion. Yeah. I think I might try to.
Yeah.
Vito
has been really killing it on JCW, man.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all go back and watch his WCW compared to now, it's like, and I didn't realize he was 61?
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
And the Outbreak is only 23?
I didn't know that. I figured they were like 30.
Cotton
the Outbreak.
He says
I was going to say the Outbreak.
Email.
Say what?
I think Catman says he has his email, Big Vito's email.
Oh, all right. Well, send it ahead. And he says Vito was awesome on our show. Great experience. Yeah, I would love to talk to Big Vito and get JCW from a talent perspective, not a writing perspective.
Yeah.
So I tell you, there's one question I meant to ask Russo and I didn't write it down.
What was that?
Is I wanted to ask him, what's one angle you wanted to do in WCW, WWF, TNA that you didn't get to do? I would have loved to have heard the answer to that, and I didn't write it down.
That would have been a good one. one. Yeah,
because then we get to hear something that never happened and could have,
Dude, all the questions that I was asking after our sheet was off the head, man, off the dome.
Yeah. Well, he was really easy to talk to, man.
Yeah. Shoot, him and Cat was easy to talk to, man. I think both of those interviews went good, man. And you gotta realize, man, even though these people are like celebrities and stuff, man, they're human beings, man.
Yeah,
they're human beings, and that was like so like sitting there talking to one of our boys, basically, almost, man. Yeah,
and man, just again, I can't thank Vince Russo enough for coming on our show. It's like a dream to get to talk to him because I've admired his work since I was like 14 years old,
Bruh, I've been Been since what, 94, 95? But I was
Homie Prophet 696 says JCW is an awesome show. It definitely is. And for those of you out there, if you're watching and you're just watching to hear about the old days of Vince Russo, he's got shit going on now. JCW. Check it out now. And it's unfiltered Vince Russo. He doesn't have anybody he's having to approve these ideas with. He's, like he said, he's doing what he wants.
Unleashed.
So, yeah, unleashed. So if you like the Attitude Era, if you liked his time in WCW, check it out, because he's got ideas coming out everywhere. Like he said, it's hard. He's got so many, gimmicks and angles. It's hard to figure out what to do in that way. You know what I mean? Because he has so many options.
Yeah. Catman says, as a juggalo, whoop whoop, I didn't have Russo coming to JCW on my bingo card. It's been a fun 6 months watching Lunacy. See, we didn't start watching Lunacy until Russo came. I would love to go back and watch some of the old stuff, because I love watching that segment on the ads, Blast from the Past, and just from those segments makes me want to go back and watch some stuff, man. But yeah, Russo he's been killing it since he's been there. Yeah.
And I hope he stays around. I don't know. I kind of meant to ask, how long he thought his JCW run might last, and is he done with the wrestling business after that?
This will probably be his last time, but he's going to be with them for a minute. From the way that he says he's so close with Violent J and Vito and stuff, like that's a good team right there, right now, man.
Yeah, and I think he's like 66. I could be wrong. Isn't he like 66 years old or something like that?
Russo?
Yeah.
Probably around there. Somewhere around there. He's got to be.
So, man.
You pulled it off, bro.
We pulled it off. So, and Matt Q says, what's up, Switch?
Matt Q, I bet you that's my boy, Matt. Skeet, who was the first character in our first ever video, Mind of a Psycho, walking around with a teddy bear. I think that's who that is. What up, Skeet?
But yeah, everybody. So we got shows coming up.
Yeah, let me know what we got coming up, man.
We got tomorrow night. We're doing an AEW Dynamite watch along, 7:55. It's gonna be me, Switch, K Fabulous, and Wolf, and maybe Dylan.
Oh, that would be what's up.
So we're watching Dynamite tomorrow night, and we're doing a watch along, of course, of JCW Lunacy, 6:55 on Thursday. And we're on X at No Bones Wrestling. That's at No Bones RASSLIN. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/at No Bones About Wrestling. We're on TikTok at No Bones About Wrestling. We have our own website too, with stuff about us and stuff from the past, shows from the past, www.nobonesabout.com, which is going to get updated very soon. We're going to put some new stuff. We're going to get some more personal stuff, Switch, if, we can ask you some questions, just so the viewers can get to know us better.
Heck yeah.
Too. But yeah, check out nobonesabout.com. And then going into next week, next Tuesday at 6, we're going to be watching a show Vince Russo wrote, WWF WrestleMania 14. We're doing Tuesday Night Russo. It's a show we're doing where we go through the Attitude Era of WWF, which, as Vince Russo said, there's no Attitude Era without him.
Nope.
Very true. People think, oh, these guys are just coming up, the promos, they're coming up with this shit off the top of their head. It's like, no, there's a man behind the scenes who made Stone Cold Steve Austin, who made The Rock the characters that they were,
Yeah.
And both those guys, of course, took those characters and kind of took off with it, made it their own. But somebody had to make that character in the first place,
Yeah.
and give them stuff to say. So join us on Tuesday Night Russo, WrestleMania 14, a big show. Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels is the main event for the world title. It was a big changing point in WWF. So we're watching that Tuesday at 6. And then, of course, next Wednesday, AEW Weekly will be back, one of our most popular shows. It's going to be at 6 o'clock the first Wednesday in May. AEW Weekly. It's going to be me and Switch talking about Dynamite, talking about Collision, doing our top 5 rankings for the men, the women, the teams. I'm going to be looking kind of in depth at some of the angles they have going on. Talk about what's coming up, leading up to Double or Nothing. So all AEW, talking only about AEW. AEW Weekly, first Wednesday in May, coming back at 6. And then we'll still do Dynamite Watch Along that night too.
Yep. I want to thank everybody that was in the chat today, rocking along with us for this interview. Y'all are greatly appreciated. And even if y'all was in here and wasn't talking, we appreciate y'all too. But please comment. We like to hear from y'all, man. Make y'all make y'all comments known and stuff. You know, we love that stuff. We need that stuff.
Yep. Love talking to you. Share the show around. If you enjoyed this, please like it. That makes a difference for our videos getting seen and stuff. Like it. Subscribe. You know, you can know when we're going live. We usually do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday every week. Sometimes we'll do some different stuff. We're going to have a horror watch along coming up very soon. They Live, starring Roddy Piper.
I can't wait for that. I'm caught up on that now, so I can be right there with y'all now. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, we're going to have some we do horror watch alongs. If you look on YouTube in the past, we've done some of the Friday the 13th movies. We did a movie with Goldberg called Santa's Sleigh. So we dip our toes into horror sometimes. Those are like my 2 favorite things, kind of horror and wrestling, as far as like entertainment. So we'll get a Switch. You got anything you want to promote before we go?
Just for y'all to go on YouTube for my other content, which is CGR Productions on YouTube. You can find our music. You can find a web series that we started on there. We have interviews from local artists and stuff. So yeah, you go on YouTube and type in CGR Productions. That'll pop up. You'll see our 3 little characters up there with the C, the G, and the R. Follow us, like, if you want to hear some good. We got music for everybody. Come on over there and join us on that. But other than that, you can find me right here with my brother from another mother, the No Bones crew, doing our thing every week.
And if you got a spot in the horror movie, if you got a spot for me, I can make it up there.
Hey, my brother has been writing his butt off for this movie that he has. And trust.
What's it called again?
It's called Cursed Verses. Am I right quick? Cursed Verses. And trust and believe. Look, Asa could be goddamn Cross.
Hey, I didn't see
Asa could be Cross, man. He could be the villain Cross. Yeah. But hey, we will definitely have you some kind of cameo in that joint, man.
All right. I'm up for it. I'm up for it.
I know
so everybody
Kay would probably be too shy for that shit.
Yeah, she would. She would. She's pretty shy, except when she's on the show, she's less shy.
Yeah.
But she's awkward because we met we went to an indie wrestling show Sunday, and we met Tully Blanchard.
Oh snap!
Yeah, we met Tully Blanchard, who I've met 5 horsemen now. I met Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, Sting, Lex Luger, and Arn Anderson.
So you just need Barry Windham,
right, and really? Paul Roma. Paul Roma. Because Steve McMichael's dead, Ole Anderson's dead.
Yeah.
Is that it? Chris Benoit's dead. Dean Malenko. I mean, and then I've met all the living horsemen. So that's my favorite stable. I love meeting those guys. That's another thing. Like Russo, I mean, when he came on, I'm kind of starstruck. You know, I've been reading about and watching this guy for 30 years.
Yeah. It's
the same as like when I met Ric Flair. I didn't know what to say except, I've been watching you since I was a kid. You're my favorite wrestler. It's an honor to meet you, you know, and I've met celebrities. Like I met Hillary Clinton, etc. I've met a lot of celebrities, but the biggest one that I was starstruck meeting really felt like, wow, I can't believe this is happening was Ric Flair. Definitely.
See, I think that's how it would be if I was to meet Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I think I would be like, because like, doing what me and my brother do, you know, traveling and doing all the singing, we done met people, and I don't think I can't remember a time I've been starstruck. I'm like, oh wow, that's such and such, Like, we'd have been in rooms with Nick Cannon, we'd have met Tyrese and stuff. But if I was to meet Sean, it's a done deal for me. I can die a happy man.
And we're going to see Sean in a great match with Stone Cold next Tuesday Night Russo, 6 o'clock. Usually we do Tuesdays at 7, but since it's a 3-hour pay-per-view, we're going to do Tuesday at 6 this coming week for Tuesday Night Russo.
Smart. Maybe we can get Kay to last a little longer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because she needs to see that show. She's never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And WrestleMania 14 really was like the changing of the guard. And like Russo said, we've been watching since December of 97, which is when Russo became head writer for WWF. And we've seen now every week, we see little by little more of Vince Russo getting in the show, more of his style, because like he said, as Vince trusted him more and more, he got more of his shit in,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, WrestleMania 14 was really when you could see his influence really start to take over. And, the Attitude Era was kind of born at WrestleMania 14, I feel like, when Stone Cold won the belt.
And took off the next night, which is another show I can't wait for.
Yeah, we'll be watching that one in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, 2 Tuesdays, I should say. Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be watching the Raw after WrestleMania 14, which is where I think the biggest Raw after WrestleMania, which is where we get the new DX with Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, and X-Pac. And that is a story that they tell over the course of the episode, too. They don't just bring everybody out. And I'm not going to spoil how they do it, but they don't just bring everybody out and say, this is the new DX. They do a storyline with it to show you why they're the new DX. So we'll check that out in 2 weeks. But everybody, that's going to do it for us this morning. If you want to see this again, it's going to be on YouTube. It'll stay there. And if you have friends, you think they want to see this is going to re-air several times. I'm going to, we'll advertise when we're going to re-air it and all that stuff. This is going to be available as an audio only podcast too. Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your audio podcasts, we're going to be on there. That should be up today or tomorrow, the audio version.
Sweet.
But yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us. This was a dream to have Vince Russo on the show.
Yes, Lord.
Biggest show we've ever done, definitely. We never had a world champion on the show before.
Nope, we had a world champion, man.
A world champion. Former WCW world champion. But everybody, that's going to do it for us. And as always, I'll tell you, love yourselves, love each other, and as always, use your turn signals. The life you save may be your own.
That's right.
So everybody have a great day. We will see you tomorrow night, 7:55 for AEW Dynamite Watch Along. And Switch, thank you very much. You did a great job.
You too, man. Thank you. Help. Already, man.
It wouldn't have been as good without you, definitely.
Yep.
And lastly, thanks again to Vince Russo for being on our little show here.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. He was a super nice guy, super down to earth. Like, couldn't have been easier to talk to,
Yeah. Took time out of his schedule because he's right in the middle of writing the next 7 episodes for Lunacy.
Exactly.
I'll make sure y'all come join us Thursday for.
Took time out of his busy schedule to talk with us, and we can't appreciate that more. And even with a cold, he came on the show. He's sick and he's busy, and came on the show. So
that was real, though.
That's gonna do it for us. Switch. I will see you tomorrow night, man.
Yes, sir. You get you some rest, all right, man. Good shit
man.
today.
Take it easy. Everybody, thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow, 7:55, AEW Dynamite.
Peace out.